There's no denying it. The Rams need a certain player to step up against the Colts this week in a game plan for that game, as well as some players the Rams could go after in the cornerback room, some injury updates, and a Hall of Fame update for some Rams legends. All that and more on this episode of Rams Digest, and welcome back to another episode of Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Finehirsh, and before we get into today's video, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 5K, 5,000 subscribers, so if you want to be a part of that journey, make sure to hit that button right now and click the bell, click the notification bell, click all so you get notified and never miss whenever we post our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams so you don't miss a beat this NFL season. And make sure to like this video as well for week 4 coming up, a chance at redemption for the Rams against the 3-0 Colts at 1:05 p.m. Pacific time. And we will be back live, Josh and I, for that game, so we are hoping to be live at around 12:45 p.m. Pacific time so we can get you a little bit of pregame action for that one as well. And comment down below if you're going to be there, because I know we missed last week, but we're back on it for this week and future weeks, so we can't wait for that. But now we have to get into our main story of today, which is some things to look out for this game against the Colts. And there's a lot of factors that will really matter in this game. This story is brought to us by Rams Wire, which we will get into right now. Coming off a loss to the undefeated Philadelphia Eagles, the Los Angeles Rams will now be tested by another team that is yet to lose this season. They're hosting the 3-0 Indianapolis Colts on Sunday, a battle between the 2-1 Rams and 3-0 AFC South leaders. The Rams last played the Colts in 2023 when they won on the road 29-23 thanks to a game-winning touchdown by Puka Nacua in overtime. Anthony Richardson was the quarterback on that day, but on Sunday, it'll be Daniel Jones, Indiana Jones, under center. You gotta call him by his proper name. His proper name is Indiana Jones. I love the nickname, by the way. Comment down below if you love the nickname. I love it. I'm a fan of the nickname and the personality that he's built. But yeah, that is true. Last time the Rams played the Colts was in Indianapolis, but now they are here, and it should be a great game and a really, really close one, and a surprising test for the Rams. A game I didn't think would be a test, but ends up being a test here early on in the year. But we have to get into what will really matter in this game, which starts right now. The Colts have the fewest punts to start a season since 1940. The Colts could have made punter Rigoberto Sanchez a healthy scratch in the first 3 games because he's only punted 1 time this season. The Colts once punt 1 punt through 3 games is the fewest by a team to start a season since 1940, showing just how efficient the offense has been thus far. Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. The fact that they've only punted once in 3 games. Not even once, like 1 time a game. No, 1 in total through 3 games. That just goes to show how on tight and on top this Rams defense needs to be. They have to be almost perfect. They have to play the first 2.5 quarters against the Eagles. That type of level perfect against this Colts offense, because they have been awesome this year. Daniel Jones, whether you like it or not, he's an MVP candidate. Early in the year, Daniel Jones is a real MVP candidate, and we have to put some respect on the great Indiana Jones. I mean, he's playing the role of Indiana Jones. Harrison Ford, not going to lie, to get up to the Harrison Ford level, he's got to put up like a full MVP season. But he's playing a really good Indiana Jones right now over there in Indianapolis. And this is going to be a real test for this Rams defense. Again, Jonathan Taylor, obviously a key part of this. But yeah, that's definitely something you have to look out for. You need to get this Colts offense off the field so your defense does not get too tired. And the Rams have the worst pass blocking grade in the NFL, and the Colts are second. According to Pro Football Focus, the Rams' pass protection has been the worst in the NFL. They have a grade of 37.4 in that department so far this season, lower than any other team. The Colts, meanwhile, have the second highest pass blocking grade at 71.6. The Broncos are miles ahead of everyone else with a grade of 79.3, but the Colts are the next closest team. Yeah, that Colts O-line with Quentin Nelson, obviously Quentin Nelson's an all-world talent there at the O-line position, but this is why I'm saying everyone on that D-line needs to be ready. The Rams, how they were successful against Philly for the first 2.5 quarters was by getting that pressure. They sacked Jalen Hurts 4 times in that game. It's hard to do to sack Jalen Hurts 4 times, especially against that O-line. Yes, I know Lane Johnson missed the last 3 quarters, but still, even without Lane Johnson, you still have 3 other all-world guys like Mailata, Juergens, Dickerson. All those guys on that line are still really, really good. And for the Colts, Quentin Nelson, you're not going to get past him. You're going to have to take over every other aspect of that offensive line if you're this Rams defense. So that's why Braden Fisk is the thumbnail of this video, is first in the introductory video, because I think he's the key to this. Because Braden Fisk we've been talking about it, Josh and I, not a second year that we thought he was going to have so far. 8.5 sacks last year, 0 this year, and 44 total tackles and just 5 this year. I get it's only been 3 games, so those numbers are probably going to improve, but Braden Fisk didn't start half the games last year. He started a lot in the second half of the year when the Rams defense got a lot better, but for the Rams, they believe in Fisk. All the fans believed in Fisk. The Fisk and Verse, the Florida State teammate combo, we all thought was going to be great this year. Verse has been fine getting pressure. He got his first sack under his belt, and now I think he's going to get better as this year goes on. At least Verse has still been making an impact. Braden Fisk hasn't really made an impact on the defense so far. This year, he did have the knee surgery in the offseason that we discussed a lot, so that definitely played into. We had an oblique injury, tweaked it, warming up against the Titans, didn't play in that game. Played in the Eagles game, and he was a guy who Rams wired to the story, guys will impact the game who weren't there last year. Braden Fisk was in there if he plays, and he just didn't really impact that game in the way that we thought he could have. Again, he's probably still recovering from the oblique injury for sure. The knee should be fully healed because he didn't miss any time in training camp or so far in the regular season for it. So if the oblique injury is still bothering him, then I would understand the slow start. But if it's not, then it's definitely a little bit concerning because Braden Fisk was a guy who I was really expecting to have another similar year, another 8.5 sack type year. He put on weight. He went up to 291, 6'4", 291, good size on that D-line. So if he's not going to be able to get to the quarterback, the Rams are pretty much -1 against the offensive line of this Colts team, who's looked dominant so far this season. And the Rams are tied for the NFL lead with 12 sacks. As expected, the Rams have had one of the best pass rushes in football. They have 12 sacks in just 3 games, which is tied with the Broncos for the most in the NFL. Their 93 sack yards are also the most for any team, with an 11.5% sack rate, which ranks 3rd in football. Yeah, and that is what we expected. This D-line is exactly what we expected it to be outside of Braden Fisk. Again, this is with Braden Fisk not having a start to the year that we wanted him to. If Braden Fisk is playing at the levels we know he can, oh my, they might already be at 14 sacks at this point. But yeah, this is without Braden Fisk, cooking. We got to just say, let him cook now, and hopefully that is the case for Braden Fisk. That just another week of action, get his feet wet, and throughout this season, he's just warming up right now, and then later on in the year, hopefully this is the game where he can break out, at least trying to stop the run as well, because they need to do that to win this game too. But with the 12 sacks against this O-line is a big test for this Rams defense. So comment down below right now, how do you think this Rams D-line stacks up to the Colts O-line? And the Colts have the 4th worst pass rush win rate. The Rams pass rush is outstanding, but the same can't be said about the Colts. In fact, they have one of the lowest pressure rates and pass rush win rates in the league. According to Pro Football Reference, the Colts' 15.9% pressure rate is the 5th worst of any team. ESPN has the Colts with a pass rush win rate of only 25%, which is 29th in the league or 4th worst. Matthew Stafford should have time to find open receivers without dealing with too much pressure in the pocket. That would be great. If Matthew Stafford can get more time to get the ball to his receivers, that's the dream come true. That's exactly what you want as a Rams fan. Stafford to stay upright as well because of that back injury. And with this, the Rams O-line needs to be better. They weren't good in the second half at all against the Eagles. They've been pretty decent throughout the year. Again, the pass blocking hasn't been great, but the run blocking has actually been pretty good. So hopefully this can be kind of a get-right game for them. DeForest Buckner is good, but outside of that, the pass rush, Kwity Paye is still a developing player, and so is Latu. So both of those guys are definitely still I love Latu at UCLA. I thought that was a great pick for the Colts a couple drafts ago, but he is just still developing. In a couple years, this defense, I think, is going to be great. But right now, it's not where it needs to be in order to compete with a pass-heavy offense like the Rams. Teams are just 2 for 5 on field goals against the Colts. Teams have not had much success kicking field goals against the Colts. Opponents are only 2 for 5 on field goal attempts when facing the Colts this season, with one of their kicks being blocked. Will Lutz of the Broncos missed a 42-yarder in Week 2, while Joey Sly missed a 64-yarder last week before having a 62-yard attempt blocked. So really, teams have only missed one reasonable attempt against the Colts this season, but with the Rams coming off a game where 2 field goals were blocked, they must be on high alert because the Colts will be looking to get their hands on each kick. Yeah, they will, and each team's not going to have that sort of target on the Rams' back, as in trying to get to these kicks, which is certainly going to be a problem. Again, I didn't think it was on Cardi, but I saw someone say, who was a former kicker, I forget who it was, my apologies on that, but he said that Cardi didn't get enough airtime under it, that he didn't get the ball high enough, meaning that it couldn't get over the defender's hands. Again, we did see Will McDonald just clean leap over the O-line. And if that happens, he said there's nothing really you can do there. But kind of the former kicker was saying that the Eagles should not have blocked either of those kicks. But I don't necessarily think that's true. Again, I'm not a kicking expert. If someone has kicked before, has kicking experience at the high school, college level, or maybe even a former NFL kicker in the comments, who knows? But put it in the comments down below, because I'm really interested in knowing kind of the reason why. I thought it was more so on the line rather than the holder or Cardi. Well, Ethan Evans is the holder or Cardi. I thought that was more just an unlucky situation. But we'll see this week. If Cardi still is off his game this week, then it is definitely a bit concerning as a kicker. But for the Rams, they have to know the status of thing, and they have to get the special teams right, if not just to win this game, but to win a Super Bowl. We saw the Packers special teams fail them year in, year out. Now that's not the case anymore, and now they're a much more competitive team. Not mainly because of that. The defense is really why, but that special teams being shored up makes you feel a lot more comfortable and confident as a fan. And for the Rams, I don't see this being a season-long issue, because it never really has been. I think it's a one-game type issue, but it's definitely important to look at and monitor heading into this game. And the Colts have the worst red zone defense in the NFL and the 7th worst offense. The Rams rank 23rd in the league with a red zone touchdown rate of just 46.2% on offense this season, showing how badly they've struggled when getting inside the 20-yard line. They could improve that number this week when they face the worst red zone defense in football. The Colts have allowed 6 red zone trips by their opponents, and on all 6 drives they have scored touchdowns. They're the only team in the NFL to allow a 100% touchdown rate in the red zone this season. That's a real problem for the Colts. That's the reason why I'm not sold on them being a legitimate Super Bowl contender. Now, couldn't they make the playoffs? Yes. I think starting off 3-0, they're almost kind of a lock to make it, because I feel like if you start off 3-0, it's a little tough to miss the playoffs. And we saw the Panthers do it a few years ago, but again, the Colts are just a better run organization overall than the Panthers. But yeah, that's definitely going to have to be fixed. If you're a Colts fan watching this, that is definitely not what you want to see. The Rams' offense hasn't been great in the red zone, obviously, so this is what you want as a Colts fan to be facing a team like the Rams right now. But for the Rams, you have to get in the red zone and score. There's no reason why the Rams should not have 3 touchdowns scored this game. None. They got to be able to get 3 touchdowns in this game. That should be a goal. Just get 3 touchdowns this game. The Colts have the worst red zone defense. Should be easy. Get Devontae in there, Kyren, Puka, Corum. Really, 4. I think all 4 of those guys can get in. Get all 4 of those guys in there as well for this Rams team. The Rams own the best starting field position differential of any team. The Rams' offensive possessions start at their own 35.1 yard line on average this season, the best starting field position of any team. They've been equally good at pinning opponents deep, ranking second in the NFL with an average starting position allowed of the 25.2 yard line. That means on average the Rams have 10 yards better of starting field position, the best in the league. The Colts have the third worst average starting field position, 33.8 in football. That is definitely something to note. That is an important note heading into this game. An interesting little nugget there for this Rams team. That's the part of special teams that's been awesome. The kicking game and the return game, and the punting game, I should say, and kickoff game, have been really good for the Rams on special teams. And this doesn't need to change at all. They just got to keep doing the same thing. Really, it's really all there is to that. And Matthew Stafford averages more yards per game versus the Colts than all but 2 opponents. Stafford has faced the Colts 5 times in his career, going 3-2 in those games. He averages 317.2 passing yards per game against Indianapolis, which is the 3rd best mark he has against other teams. The only teams he averages more passing yards per game against are the Lions, 325.5 in 2 games, and Steelers, 338.7 in 3 games. Shocked the Steelers are on there, because they normally have a good defense. Not as much this year, but they normally do. The Lions make sense, former team, trying to ball out against them, but hey, yeah, just keep doing the same thing. The Colts secondary is not great. The defense overall is definitely the weakness of their team. And I could definitely see Stafford having a huge game. If you own Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams in fantasy, I think you're in for a good game. I definitely think both of them are going to go off this week. So my main keys to the game, offense, get humming, keep getting in the red zone, keep scoring, and the defensive line needs to be good. I don't think they're going to get 4 sacks, and that's okay against this O-line. If they can just get 1 or 2, I think that's a win. And comment down below right now what you're most looking forward to and watching in this game. And now we have our secondary story here from Turf Show Times about 2 new corners that the Rams could potentially trade for. No official reporting just yet, but wanted to throw these names out there because I do think both of these names can fit, which we will get into right now. And the first name is Cam Taylor-Britt of the Bengals. Taylor-Britt is in a contract year, and the Cincinnati Bengals are not in the business of paying their own players. The Bengals sit at 2-1, but just got blown out by the Minnesota Vikings with games against the Broncos, Lions, and Packers on deck. There is a good chance that the Bengals sit at 2-4 near the trade deadline, with Burrow set to be out until at least December. In a throwaway season, the Bengals may be open to trading a player like Taylor Britt for a mid-round draft pick. Yeah, that is definitely true, but we're going to hear some more about him and why he could fit on this Rams team right now. In Taylor Britt, the Rams wouldn't be acquiring a top cornerback, but one that fits a role and what they need. He hasn't been a fit in Al Golden's defense and missed week 3 with an injury. From weeks 13 to 18 last season, Taylor Britt allowed a 53.9% rating, which was the third best in the NFL. It's also worth noting that he is a player who made my Snead snacks list in 2022 as a Rams fit. He's someone to at least keep an eye on. Yeah, 2022 was when he was drafted, second round pick out of Nebraska. In 2024, he had 16 passes defense. He only did have 1 pick though. He's on a $4 million salary for this year, which is very tradable as well. A mid-round pick, yeah, give up a fourth or fifth round pick. I think should do it. He's been fine as a Bengal. Had a rough start to the year, but he got better as the year went on. And he's definitely a guy who I could see making a nice impact. He's 5'11", 200 pounds, so he's got the weight, which is what the Rams need. They need someone with weight and a little more height. Again, 5'11" is not super tall, but it's better than Darius Williams and Kobe Durant. Until Ahkello Witherspoon gets back, at least it's taller than both of those guys. And that is what the Rams need. And comment down below right now, what are your thoughts on this? But another guy, and an even better fit in my opinion, is the second guy that we got to get into right now. That's Greg Newsome, the second of the Browns, I should say, excuse me. As it stands, the Cleveland Browns have 2 first-round picks in the 2026 NFL Draft, and may look to stock up on draft picks to add more young talent. More draft picks could also ensure that they are able to get their quarterback. It seems unlikely the Browns will let Newsome walk, but he is in the final year of his rookie contract. This is the one top-level cornerback the Rams may be able to acquire. Denzel Ward is another potential option on the Browns that may be more realistic. Newsome has been inconsistent at points in his career. There's a chance that the Browns go 1-5 after 6 weeks and look to sell. Newsome hasn't been as good as he was during his first 3 seasons, and is someone that's used to playing behind a good pass rush. This is a name at least worth exploring for the Rams. Yeah, and I mean, Denzel Ward is a dream. Oh my God, if the Rams got Denzel Ward, wowee. I mean, at that point, you guys got to cut Darius Williams and eat the salary if you get Denzel Ward. Because you're bringing back Witherspoon, Denzel Ward, Forbes, and Durant. I mean, wow. That is exactly what you're looking for in a cornerback room. Wow. I mean, the name's not Denzel Ward because that would take a lot. But Greg Newsome's another guy who could be a nice fit. He's 6 foot, 192. Got good height, heavier than Williams and Durant as well, which you also like. First rounder of the Browns, coming off of a down 2024 where he only started 3 games. 1 interception, 5 passes defense, and 27 tackles. This season already in 3 games started, he does have 14 tackles and 2 passes defense, so already a bit of a better year. He is on a $13.3 million salary. Both salaries are from Spot Rack. That is where I got those numbers from. And yeah, that is definitely something to keep an eye on, both of these guys. I love the Greg Newsome fit because I think he has more potential than Britt to keep getting better as well. If the Rams traded for Greg Newsome, I would like that over the other guy they signed. The other guy they signed, I was not a fan of it. And Greg Newsome is definitely someone who would be a good fit. And comment down below right now. Are there any other names? Again, Stephon Gilmore was in this as well, but we've talked about Gilmore at length on this channel, and I didn't want to be repetitive. So these are 2 new guys that we haven't really mentioned before that the Rams could get via the trade market. So comment down below if you think they can trade. And both should go for around a 4th or 5th round pick. We don't need to trade any high picks. If we get Denzel Ward, that's going to be a second. Probably a second and a third. Because Denzel Ward, when healthy, is one of the best corners in football. So comment that down below right now. And we do have a bit of an injury update to get into. I saw this after I built up this video, got all my images ready. But according to Sarah Barshop, a Rams reporter, I'm going to read off of this here real quick. Sean McVay said today that wide receiver Devontae Adams sore hamstring and right tackle Rob Havenstein ankle will not participate in practice today after both came in a little sore. They did not practice today, but McVay did say he doesn't anticipate the injuries to impact anyone's status for the Colts game, which is exactly what you want to hear as a Rams fan. That's okay. Give the 2 veterans a rest day. I think that's just fine. But a final topic of the video is wide receiver Torrey Holt has made the Hall of Fame finalist ballot once again for the 6th time. Todd Gurley, my guy, not making it, unfortunately. Didn't have a long enough career for the vibes. I want him in, but I don't think he will, unfortunately. Steven Jackson as well, former Rams great running back there in St. Louis, also made it to the final ballot. But I just want to read off some of Torrey Holt's stats because this guy should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm going to have to read from here again. 13,382 yards, 74 touchdowns, Super Bowl ring, 1-time first-team All-Pro, 1-time second-team All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowler, 2 times yards leader, 1-time reception leader, NFL All-Decade Team, and he also holds some NFL records too. He has the record for most receiving yards in a decade, which happened in the 2000s, as well as receptions, happened in the 2000s as well. He has 6 consecutive seasons with 1,300 yards, 2000 to 2005, and 2 1,600-yard seasons tied for the most ever, and the 17th most receiving yards ever. How is he not already in the Hall of Fame? I've said it for the last 3 years he should have already been in. It's a 6-time eligible. Get him in. Rams great, one of the best Rams of all time. He should be in the Hall of Fame already. Hopefully this is his year. And comment down below right now whether or not you agree. And it better be all yeses. If someone says no, I'm going to have to debate you in the comments. Ram or not, that's a Hall of Fame career, in my opinion. Definitely should be in. But that is all for this episode of Rams Digest. Remember, too, hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5K. If you want to be a part of the journey, hit that button right now. Click that notification bell. Click all so you get notified. And never miss our daily new Rams Digest video content covering all things Rams so you don't miss a beat this NFL season. Leave a like on this video right now for the streams coming back. Week 4 coming up, starting tomorrow. NFC West rivalry on Thursday Night Football. Seahawks, Cardinals. I'll be tuning into that, scouting our rivals. Hopefully you do that as well. Leave in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on Braden Fisk and the D-line being impactful on this game, and your overall thoughts on the game against the Colts coming up? Leave in the comments down below whether you'll join the stream or not. Your thoughts as well on the 2 cornerbacks, Greg Newsome II and Cam Taylor-Britt, or if you have any other names that we have yet to mention. Comment down below as well. Torrey Holt, Hall of Famer, yes or no, and why? Should definitely be a yes, but I'll leave it open to discussion in the comments. I've been your host, Joshua Finehirsh, as always. Thank you very much for watching another episode of Rams Digest. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon for another one, and have a great rest of your day.